Welcome to the You on the Camino de Santiago podcast. This podcast is for and about first-time pilgrims walking the pilgrimage routes in Spain, France, and Portugal. With your host, guide and longtime pilgrim, Nancy Reynolds of the Camino Experience. What happens when you sense a loud, clear calling to walk the Camino de Santiago? Well, you do it. You put some dates on the calendar and you plan this thing. That's what my guest today, Noel, did. The calling was mysterious, yet unmistakable. So who was she to refuse it? And the timing coincides perfectly with a big milestone birthday. So this is the perfect time to take this journey. Hi, this is Nancy, back with a conversation with another first-time pilgrim who is getting ready for her pilgrimage from Sarria to Santiago on the Camino Frances. Noel's message to you today is clear. Stand strong in your decision to do this pilgrimage your way. And are there any moms tuning into this podcast? I know there are. How about any moms who have been dreaming of making the pilgrimage on the Camino de Santiago, but who can't quite figure out how to make it happen? Noel has a message specifically for you. Noel is a goal setter and a goal getter. You are going to hear about the 3 goals she has set for herself for her Camino and for what she wants to bring home after her pilgrimage. I love how focused she is. Not because being focused is a virtue in and of itself, but because I have recently learned for myself how powerful it is to set goals and commit to them by writing them down every day, morning and night. Focus. That's what brings your goals into reality. Okay, and you also need a plan, but it starts with focus. Focus on your intention for the journey, and focus on what you want in your life or who you want to be as a result of completing the Camino pilgrimage. Your Camino really does begin when you say yes and start planning. As this episode releases, I am on my way to Madrid at the end of my spring 2025 Camino. My group of 11 pilgrims are all on their way, headed towards Santiago de Compostela, and I am headed home. I am eager to get home because I can't wait to build out all these things I've been talking about the past month or so. Workshops to get you the most out of the pilgrimage experience, ways for you to connect with others who listen to this podcast, ideas for how to articulate and share your Camino story, and more. As the world seems to get crazier every day and week, we, pilgrims, are coming together to bring that Camino spirit out into the world, into our communities, our families, and our circles of friends. More good stuff coming soon. Before we get to Noel, let me ask, have you been following along with me on Facebook and Instagram while I've been on the Camino? I hope so, but if not, it's not too late. Simply search for The Camino Experience on the platform of your choice. Okay, now let's go ahead and meet Noel. Noel, hi. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. Welcome.
Hi, Nancy. I'm super excited to be here and talk with you today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All the more, I'm going to tell on myself if you don't mind, because this is our second take, because our first take was so fun. I don't know about you, but I loved our first conversation.
It was great, and I just feel spoiled that I get you twice now. So this is perfect.
I feel the same way. And actually, so the reason why, just so my listeners know, is I forgot to hit record. And we had this glorious 45-minute conversation. And then I realized, so the recording got started the moment I saw her face and heard her voice. So we are recording, and we're going to talk about your Camino. You ready for that?
Round 2, let's begin.
Okay, so let's start by putting the pin in the map so we know what your plans are. Will you just share what your Camino plans are?
Yes, so I'm going to be doing Saria to Santiago this summer in around mid-July, and I will be walking for 5 days for my first Camino.
Okay. I like how you said your first Camino. Does that already imply there might be more?
Oh, I already know there will be more. I feel like this is definitely the first step of many for me, for sure.
Oh, I love that. So tell me about your plans. How have you put this together? What type of experience are you planning for or have you planned for? Would you share a bit more about that?
So I've decided, well, maybe it would be helpful to start of how I decided, and then
Okay.
we'll go with all the plans. So I'm sort of at this transformative place in my life where I have a milestone birthday coming up. I'm
Ooh.
gonna be turning 50. Um,
Yay. Yay for
yes, I know. I'm
50.
actually really excited. I'm embracing it and I'm excited. I feel like this is the beginning of a whole second half of my life.
Ooh.
And my daughter is going to a camp over the summer. And so I was thinking during my birthday, and as I was reflecting on what I wanted to do for my 50th birthday and how I want to spend that time, I had gone to a meditation sound bathing class. And during that experience, when people talk about the calling, like I know people have callings for things, but I've never experienced that myself. And I had a very unexpected calling that threw me for a loop. I went to this sound meditation class, and during that experience, I started envisioning my 50th birthday, what I was going to do, and I saw myself on the Camino.
Just out of the blue, just random.
I had heard about the Camino probably a good 3 or 4 years ago for the first time. It was just a bucket drop in a podcast I was listening to. The podcaster was talking about how she had gone, what her experience was. And I thought, wow, that's something to add to my list. And quite honestly, I have not thought about it since, other than like someday I'm going to do this thing. I've never researched it. I've never talked to any of my friends about it. I just kind of had it in the back of my mind. So it must have been in there still. And when I had this experience in this sound bathing class, I literally was walking on the Camino. I knew it was the Camino. I could see myself and the experience. And when I woke up from, it was sort of like this hypnotic state
Mm.
during this sound bathing class. So you weren't asleep, but you weren't fully awake. You were sort of in that middle space. And when we ended the class and we went around to share, I thought, oh, this is what I'm doing for my milestone birthday. And I had all the reasons why just kind of in my mind ready to go. So then that brings us to the planning part. I then got home, and within 24 hours, I started researching and planning my Camino. I knew it was going to be during my birthday. I knew it was going to be at that time also because my daughter will be at a camp where she's I'm a single mom. So, right, she's going to be well taken care of, responsible adults. And I started planning my 2 weeks away, well, maybe 10 days. And I started planning. I know listening to your podcast, people have thoughts about what their Camino way is. My Camino will be a little different from others. And I'm super excited.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Okay. Well, I love that. It's one of the things that I intended when I started the podcast that we would hear different people's stories and
Mhm.
we find ourselves in other people's stories, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we go, oh, that sounds like me. Or, oh, if that person can do it, I wonder if I can do it. I think I can do it. I'm going to do it.
I'm not only going to do it, but I'm going to do it my way, which may be a little bit different from others. And I'm okay with that. Yeah.
All right. So you've said that a couple times. You're going to do it your way. How about you tell us what that is?
As soon as I decided to do this, I immediately found your podcast. And I've been binging your podcast and have gotten through all 5 seasons, and now
Whoa.
just episodes, hundreds of episodes, right? And also, like probably many, I found myself on Facebook, joining groups, and there's a lot of great information. But I very quickly realized that the way in which I wanted to do my Camino maybe didn't match a lot of people's opinions. So I'm kind of off of Facebook now, just planning for what I want to be my experience. So I have very clear set goals for what I want to try to accomplish when I am on the Camino, which I feel like has already started.
We're going to go into that for sure. But go ahead. I can't wait to hear now that what you're going to be doing.
So I decided at my age, turning 50, I am going to use a company. So I am using Camino Ways. They've been amazing. And they have booked all of my accommodations from Sarria to Santiago. And I will also be embracing using their luggage transport, which I'm excited about. There have been many of times in past lives, earlier years, where I've done the backpacking thing. I live in a state with 48 4,000-foot mountains. I've done
Wow.
that, right? There would have been an age where I would have embraced the albergues. That is not where I'm at right now in my life. So I
Okay.
am staying in hotels.
Okay.
And the company that I'm using, there's almost like different tiered hotels, if you will.
Hmm.
And I am spoiling myself for my birthday to stay in nicer hotels. I'm doing like the bougie Camino, I'm calling it, and I'm okay with that. I'm asking them to help me pick hotels that may even have pools,
Mm.
because a part of my goals that I have set will require me to maybe do some journaling. I love being in the water. That's therapy for me. I am a water person. I envision, waking up in my nice hotel in my private room with private bathroom and maybe going out onto a balcony, doing my journaling, maybe taking a morning dip before my walk or after my walks, soaking in a nice pool and swimming, having someone bring my suitcase for me so I only have to carry my day pack. And I love it and I'm embracing it unapologetically, I guess, if you will. So that's how I'm doing my 5 nights.
The way that you're setting it up is very intentional. What
Mhm.
will that provide for you in the Camino experience?
I consider myself a very goal directed person. I am, as you've talked about, right, in your most recent episodes on goal setting, I'm up to 3%, and I do intentionally write my goals every day. And I want to go onto the Camino with my goals and actively work on them. And the way I've set up my Camino will, for me, provide the environment for me to be able to do that and work on those goals with intention. And then hopefully bring that back with me. So, like on some of your episodes, you talk about the number one thing people ask most about is what happens after.
Mhm.
And so, in my mind, the after is a part of the whole process. And so by staying in the hotels, being able to have that space to myself, it allows me the opportunity to work on my goals in a way that I know they will continue. I will continue to work on them when I get back
Okay.
and to bring that experience from the Camino back with me.
Mhm. Okay, I love that. Would you be willing to share your goals, what you're working on?
Sure, absolutely. So the 3 goals I have specific to my trip for the Camino. The first one is allowing myself to get into back into meditation. There was a time in my life where I would meditate regularly, and when I tend to meditate, I tend to meditate on some pretty big things, and they usually come to fruition.
Oh,
So there are times in my life where I actually stop meditating because I'm not ready for big change. And I know if I start again, big change is going to happen.
okay.
And so turning 50 and just again having this milestone, my daughter is going to be going off to college in a couple of years. She's my only child, and I'm just starting to think about what's my second half. And so part of me reflecting and getting some of those answers is me starting to meditate, which prompted me to go to that meditation class where I had the calling.
Okay.
And so walking for me will definitely be a start to a meditation practice again. No headphones, being in the quiet, which I don't allow myself to do very often at all. And so I want to be disconnected to listening to the audiobooks, listening to the podcasts, listening to the music, constantly having this noise so I can walk in quiet
Mm.
so I can start listening to what's next. And that's something that I know I will start on the Camino as a start to a transition that hopefully will continue when I get back. So that's my first goal.
That is so beautiful. When you said, I don't remember exactly how you said it, with in the quiet, I just felt like I exhaled, like, oh, yes, let's do that. Let's turn down some of this noise that is,
Yeah.
it's coming from everywhere, right? From the media, from our communities, from coworkers, from our own head. Our own heads are saying things. To be able to dial that down for a 5-day walk sounds to me like a beautiful gift.
Yeah. And then my second goal, which is almost the opposite of that, if right, the opposite end of the spectrum. So every year you had talked about vision boards in one of your podcasts, and we have this beautiful tradition in our family of the vision boards. And part of the vision board process for us is picking a word for the year, and that's sort of
Mm.
the center of our vision board. And my word for 2025 is connection.
Ooh.
I feel like, gosh, for so many reasons, the world and post COVID, and just where I am as a single woman and, a single mom, connection's been hard for me the last couple of years. Not that I feel isolated because I do like solitude, but I feel like I'm in this part of my life where I'm longing for deeper connections, more friendships. It's hard to start new friendships at this age. And so the thought of going to another country and walking and just connecting with other humans is so exciting to me. Like, I feel like I'm at a point where I just want to find my people. And I just have this feeling that when I'm there, right, everyone, you hear about the Camino family, and I know that's not the case for everyone, but I just want to talk to people. Like, I feel like I'll be able to balance when I need the quiet, when I need to just walk and meditate, and when it's going to feel good to just chat with people and sit and eat with people and just maybe walk for a little bit and connect with someone. And then naturally separate from that. And so that's my second goal, is to connect. And I hope it just puts me in a space that when I get back, I can continue to put myself out there to try to make new friendships.
Mm. Well, that's the key, isn't it? So it's relatively easy on the Camino because it's you times 100. Everybody's looking for that same thing. And many people go to the Camino with the same intent that you're going. And so we see people all the time who are willing to say hello and share a coffee and talk and chat and get to know you. And it's great to have that experience. How do we bring it home? And I love that you're thinking about that now. How do we bring this home? Yeah, very good. All right, what's your third goal?
And then my last goal, which may be the most challenging for me, is to embrace walking. And so, what that means for me is through many years of my adult life, I definitely is someone who always has to have some sort of movement in my day, in my life. And what that's looked like for me for many years is whether it be a road race or some of the smaller triathlons and constantly training for something, whether it's running, biking, swimming, and that's really taken a toll on my body.
Okay.
And I know I need to slow down. And walking has been challenging for me that every time I walk, I want to go faster, right? I
Ah,
want to. So if you think of like a marathon, right? You start with your 5K, your 10K, and then you kind of work your way up. I want to try to change my mindset from training with a goal of ending something like a race to walking with the goal of working my way up to just walking vacations moving forward.
oh, okay. That's really clear.
Yeah, I want to slow down. I want to
Okay.
be able, right? So if I was doing a race, my three goals would always be no walking, no stopping, just finish,
Okay.
right? Fast. Get the goal done, check it off, move to the next.
Okay.
And I don't want to live that way anymore. I want to, for my second half, I keep calling it, I want to slow down, not be in a rush to finish, and enjoy the walk. As you mentioned, right? I want to look behind me. I
Yeah.
want to stop and just appreciate the sunrise, appreciate the sunset. I want to be able to go slow and feel like that's okay. And I think walking for me, right, as a woman, I am guilty of doing certain things to look a certain way, right? And I don't want to feel that way after 50. I want to be able to create movement in a walking sort of lifestyle for longevity. I want this to be my thing. I want to be
Okay.
able to plan my vacations around walking, plan my lifestyle around walking, to be able to be around for a long time, not to do it because I want to look a certain way, if that makes sense.
It does. And actually, you used the word longevity. And about 5 minutes ago, I had this thought that the Camino is changing the way we talk about aging and the way we look at aging.
Yeah.
Look at the people who are on the Camino in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s and early 90s. We have this tremendous opportunity to take that position, the longevity, the what can my body do rather than what my body looks like.
Yeah.
And then that takes us to how do I feel in my body, which, by the way, is what I'm working on this year, how to feel good in my body.
You and me both.
Yeah.
We'll work on it together.
I bet we're not the only ones, Noelle. I bet there's a lot of people listening going, I'm in. Where's the club? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to take all the time that I've spent over the last 50 years worrying about what I look like and right, all of that, all those thoughts us women have, to
Mm,
spending that time to create new opportunities, right? Create new connections, to use
yeah.
that time to make myself feel good in a different way. People in my family tend to live long. My dad is 92 and couldn't be healthier. We've had people live to over 100. And I
Okay.
want to be one of those people. And I want to be able to start that change this summer on my first Camino with the hope to come back and do a few more.
Fantastic. Yeah. It's what we need. We need health and a good budget, and then we're good
Yeah,
to go.
yes, agreed.
Yeah, very good. I love all of that. I'm just going to just sit on that for a bit because it really aligns with what I've been working on lately, looking at the Camino experience, not just from getting started and getting you to the trail, but the whole experience from the calling to what do you do after. So I love this conversation.
Yeah, the actual 5 days of walking for me is just a very small piece for me. That's sort of my kickstart to
Hmm.
propel me forward. So it's a big way of doing that, right? It's a big way of sort of kickstarting your goal of planning
Yeah.
certain things. But I figure, hey, if I can, I guess I was thinking you have all these inspirational people on your podcast who have these amazing stories and also some tragic stories. I'm like, what do I have to offer to Nancy's podcast? And then when I thought about it, I feel like I'm just this normal, average single mom that hopes to send the message to other moms to stop putting it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand a lot of things get in the way when you're a parent and we never put ourselves first as a mom. But I just hope other moms listen to this and say, well, gosh, if she can do it because her child's going to be at camp, like
Yeah.
I can totally do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's something to be said for being normal and average. There really is, because there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us who maybe go through life thinking that this status quo is good and we'll kind of hang with it. But we miss out on the possibilities. We miss out on, what if there's something that could just make my heart sing and my spirit soar? And then I go do something else that brings more good into the world or brings more of what I have to give into the world. So I think the possibility is tremendous.
Agreed.
Yeah. And what I heard and what you're talking about, the 5 days on the Camino, I'm hearing commitment. I'm hearing that you are all in on these goals.
Oh, yeah, there's no turning back. I'm completely all in. I have my plane tickets, I have my accommodations set, I have my journal that I'm already you've said a few times on your podcast that for some people the Camino starts the day you start planning,
Uh-huh.
and that's true. So not only am I committed, but I do definitely feel like it has already begun. I have started, doing some journaling and reflecting on some of the things that I want to try to start thinking about on the Camino. And I also know I may not find many answers, but maybe more questions.
That's
'Cause
the risk. I'll tell you from my experience, first Camino, I went to the Camino looking for answers. I wanted to know, what do I do with my life? I was 40, just turned 40. What do I do with the next part of my life? Just like you're asking. And I had this great expectation that the Camino was going to hand me an envelope with the answer. Like, here it
yeah,
is. And I was hoping it wouldn't take until Santiago. I was hoping somewhere along the way it would be abundantly clear. And my journal from that trip is hilarious. It's every single day. I still don't know what I'm supposed to do next. I still don't know. I don't know. I still don't know. And it's comical to read because I had this, come on, give it to me, Camino. But what it gave me was the knowledge that whatever it is, I can do it.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to have a similar experience that I may not get the answers, but it may bring to me the right questions.
That's it. I love questions. I think it's Phil Cousineau, author of The Art of Pilgrimage, who said, questions initiate the quest and they tune the soul. So bring on those questions.
Well, and that's when we talk about bringing the Camino back with us. If I at least know the right questions to be asking, then when I come back, I can continuously keep working on the answers. And to get those again, for me, will be starting that meditation practice again. And a lot of that meditation will be through my walking.
Great. It goes
Yeah.
together so beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah, so beautifully. Well, you've talked about your daughter a couple times. I'd love to hear more about how she is looking at this whole experience. What does she think about your Camino plans?
Well, as soon as I had this calling to do this, and I woke up the next morning and I was like, I'm doing this. Before I started anything, I talked to my daughter. It's big, right? Mom
Yeah.
leaving the country, and yeah, I'll be at camp for 2 weeks, but that's really far away. And she couldn't have been more excited. Mom, that's amazing. How cool. And one of her first comments was, if you can't do the whole thing now. Maybe when I'm older, we can do it together, which I never thought in a million years I would ever hear her say she wants to walk the whole Camino with me.
Oh, surprise.
So she is very excited. She's been interested in sort of my planning and where am I going to stay and just all of the details. We're very, very close. And so I just see it as having my best friend just support me in this
Mm,
journey. People definitely have thoughts when they hear you're walking across Spain, even though mine's the 5 day walk. It's still a walk. 5 days is still a
sure.
lot to just walk in, another country.
Yeah.
And she's thrilled. I mean, don't get me wrong, it will be hard, but we planned it in a way where I drop her off at camp and literally the next day I leave to fly to Madrid. I then will get to Sarria, do my 5 days. I will then spend 2 days in Madrid after just to do some sightseeing. I say sightseeing. I think it will be more of eating tapases for like 2 days and maybe drinking wine.
Well, Madrid is an incredibly walkable city. And so you can just walk out of the door wherever you're staying and follow the people because there are always people out on the streets enjoying their city.
I'm excited for that part of it
Yeah,
too before I come back. And then I come back and the next day I go to pick her up from camp.
that's perfect.
Yes, it is. Yes. So
That's perfect.
I have to get familiar with WhatsApp. So we're gonna we talk quite a bit during the day, so that will be a change is I think we're just going to pick one time each day that we can try to say hi, check in with each other, make sure each other is okay. But other than that, I plan on trying to be disconnected.
Oh, how's that feel? The idea of that.
Amazing. Well, I'll miss talking to her, but other than my communication with her, to be off my phone, it will feel amazing. Most days I wish I could throw it in the ocean.
Ooh, I know that feeling. Yeah, it's so mouthy, you know? I mean, even if you turn the sound off, it's talking. It's just
It
always talking.
vibrates, it's there, it's just this presence.
The moment you pick it up again, you're like, oh my gosh, I missed all that blabbery stuff. Ah, and then you have to get caught up. Oh man. Yeah,
My words connection, but that is not the connection I'm looking for. I want to be with humans.
that's it right there. That's it right there. Yeah, very good. All right. So when you think about your Camino experience, imagine yourself in Sarria getting started and imagine yourself in Santiago. Do either of those have a bigger buzz or more energy than the other? Or how do you feel about the start and the finish?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. So, the start for me, no matter what it is, a race, or if I put myself in that, or just something new at work, the start for me is always exciting.
Mm-hmm,
It always feels good. I don't tend to get nervous at the start of things. It's more of an excitement.
mm-hmm,
I think envisioning myself at the end, I'm equally as excited about because I want my end to look different than my end usually looks. My ends for everything always, like if I think of myself doing other physical challenges and finishing it, I usually just get in my car and I leave.
mm-hmm,
I don't stay to reflect. I don't stay to appreciate. It's constantly from one goal to the next to the next. And I purposefully kept myself in Santiago for that whole day so I could just appreciate it. I can't wait to sit and just watch people come in.
mm,
I want to see other people's expressions and hear their experiences and connect with them, maybe even go to a service, spend the night and just experience it and not be in a rush to get to the
mm.
next thing.
So luxurious.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't mean luxurious like stay at the Parador luxurious, although you can, but luxurious to give your heart and your spirit the time to revel in what you just did and to celebrate or debrief with other people in the plaza or in the cafes or wherever you're going to be. Not everybody has that feeling of elation when they arrive in Santiago. And to be able to bear witness to whatever walks into the plaza is, I think, an incredible gift.
Yeah, that'll be a new experience for me. You know, I've accomplished many things in my life, and I've never allowed myself the opportunity to appreciate something that I've accomplished. And this time I will.
Oh my gosh. You're going to make me cry, girl. That is amazing. I cannot wait. I'm going to have you back on the podcast, my friend, and I want to hear how this goes. And I want to see what you do next. This is so exciting.
Excellent. Would love
Yeah.
to.
So when you think about your Camino, is there any question that nobody has asked you, but you wish somebody would?
Um, I don't know if it's a question, but with the few, like when with my family who I love and adore, and of course they're family, so they're going to worry about me. It's not a question, but the initial reaction,
Okay.
right? The initial reaction, well, is it safe? Are you going to be okay? We're going to worry about you, which I get that. I get it. I'm going to another country. The world is the world right now. I'm leaving my child, and even though she's going to be taken care of, she's still a minor. So a lot of people's first reactions are, is it safe? Are you going to be okay? And I hope I can allow people that I tell that I'm doing this, I hope they will see why I'm doing it
Mm.
and maybe not ask the questions, but maybe just think about the reaction.
Their reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a good lesson for anybody who knows someone who's going to walk the Camino, is to be aware that your reaction is your reaction and it has nothing to do with them or why they're doing it.
Got it. Yes.
Yeah. And then for pilgrims, it's a good thing to remember that their reaction is their reaction and has nothing to do with why you're doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, people could listen to this podcast and say, well, is she really a pilgrim? Is that really doing the Camino? And there was a time in my life where I'm a people pleaser. Well, I like to say I'm a
Mm.
people pleaser in recovery.
That's a good distinction. I like that one.
All of their opinions would have definitely affected me. And again, I'm in this transition where no, oh no, oh no, no, no. I will not let other people's opinions on how I'm doing this affect the way in which I want my Camino to look, for sure.
Wonderful. Wonderful. As we're talking, I realize I'm going to have to do an episode or a blog post on or something on how to respond when people give you grief on the Camino. Because I take it as a game.
Well, my hope is maybe with right my second goal, making those connections. If
Yeah.
people do have opinions, I'm just going to, with confidence, explain why it's my way. And hopefully they're inspired by that.
Yeah. Another thing that I like to do is to just put it back on them. So what makes you think that this isn't a valid way? How did you arrive at that opinion?
Yes.
A lot of it is misinformation, that they think there are rules about how the pilgrimage must be done, the external view of it. And it's wow, if that's the case, we're going to have to go back 1,000 years and see how it was done back then, because that was the original pilgrimage, right?
I'm going to bring that tip with me to kind of put it back on them with a question. That's brilliant.
Yeah. What
Yep.
makes you think what makes you think that's the right way to do it? Or here's the other one. Why are you staying in albergues? Why are you carrying your backpack when you don't have
My
to?
days of listening to people snore and get up to, pee 5 times a night and
Yeah.
other bodily things in the middle. No, thank you. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
I know.
I always want to add the albergue experience, if it's the right experience for you, is extraordinary. Just extraordinary to have that community connection. I worked in hostels in the US for 10 years. And I spent many an evening around a dinner table with people from around the world sharing stories. And enjoying the community nature, cooking together in a big kitchen. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. And the sleeping part in shared rooms isn't for everyone.
Yeah, it's funny because when I think of this first step of mine and doing it sort of, my bougie Camino way, I call it, that feels perfectly right for me. But when I think of a couple of next steps, like I really want to do the coastal route
Uh huh.
maybe next. And then at some point when time allows for it, I want to do the whole Frances route from beginning to end. And I often think that when I do that, I will do that in the albergues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. See, it's right place, right time. Who
right.
are you now and what experience is your heart longing for?
Yeah.
Ah, very good. I love how conscious you are about this. This is really inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah. What else would you like to share about your Camino?
I don't know. I may have to answer that question once I get back.
Oh, well, you're going to answer it then too, I think. Yeah.
Now I just have a clear vision and I'm excited and I hope, right? I guess it's more about goals, not just the Camino. We all have times in our life where we put things off, we put things off. I think we all see clearly the world we're living in. And I encourage everyone to think about moving forward with at least one of their goals that they've been putting off because life is short.
You are singing my song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any questions that I can answer for you?
I do have a couple.
Okay, let's have them.
As I said, I have my plane tickets, I have my accommodations, and my luggage transport. What I'm struggling with in my mind is when I get to Madrid, from Madrid to Sarria, I'm someone who's prone to motion sickness. And so I'm trying to think like, should I take, I know from Santiago back to Madrid, I want to take the train just to experience a train ride. I'm trying to figure out the best way of getting from Madrid to Sarria and whether I fly or take the train. How difficult is it to navigate? And I don't know much Spanish. One of my goals that I write every day is that I have memorized at least 20 Spanish phrases.
That's
And
a
I do
good
have my
goal.
note cards already made. So, can you just talk a little bit about the experience of getting from one place to the other?
Yes. Yes. So, public transportation in Spain is fairly straightforward. The train company is under the name of Renfe. It's Renfe. They have a website and they have an app. It's a little funky, but if you're patient, you can use it. I recommend setting up an account with them. And that way you have your train tickets, whatever you book is captured in your account. So you never have to worry, where's my train ticket? It's always in the app. So you always have it. And what you do is you read what's on the website, click on everything. If it says journey details, click on that and it'll tell you all of the names of the stations. It'll tell you if you have to change trains anywhere along the way. It will tell you what station to go to in Madrid. And here's the pro tip when you go to select your departure, which is Madrid, select the option of todos, Todas, which is the Spanish word for all, and it will tell you where the train leaves from. You don't have to go, oh my gosh, is it the Atocha? Is it the Chamartin? I don't know. I don't know. Say todas, and it will tell you. And you pick your destination of Saria, and it'll give you all the options. Now, train timetables and tickets are released on sort of this sliding calendar somewhere between 30 and 90 days before travel. So you might go look for it and there's nothing, not time to panic, especially on the Madrid to Sarria route. It's sort of inconsistent when they release the tickets. So don't panic. What you want to do is look at the day of the week you want to travel and go 3 weeks out from now. And that will give you an idea of the timetables and the fares for the day of the week you will eventually want to travel on.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
So then you have your train ticket and it will be in the app. You'll also get an email. I highly recommend printing your ticket before you leave home. And that way you have it. If your phone dies, if you can't get Wi-Fi, if it doesn't work as planned, you always have a paper ticket to show to check in. Now, the other thing with train tickets in Spain, these long distance trains that leave from or go to Madrid come with a free ride on the local commuter train, which is called Cercanías. Starts with the letter C, pronounced something like Cercanías. And that train goes from the airport to your train station. And that's free. And there's a little QR code right on your ticket that will get you your free ride from the airport to your train station, or the other side from your train station to the airport. So just do a little bit of reading on that one. So then the funky thing that happens with that particular route is they are often working on the train lines. And what that means is you'll get to a particular station and they'll say, everybody off the train, you're getting on a bus now. And so what you want to do is you want to pay attention to any notifications you get about your ticket and use Google Translate to translate them to English and find out if you are going to be put onto a bus. And if that happens, you get off your train and you go to an employee. There's always a Renfe employee around, and you point to your ticket and they'll point you to the bus.
Perfect. All a part of the exciting adventure.
Yeah, it is. Spanish trains sometimes run on time. Sometimes they don't. So I always recommend you keep your connections fairly loose. So give yourself plenty of time to get to the train station and give yourself plenty of time for whatever comes after your train ride, just in case it's not on time. And then the other tip, I always do reconnaissance work the day before a train ride. So if I'm in a new place, for example, if I'm staying over in Madrid, if I can, I go to the train station the night before and I look, where's the information board that tells me what track I'm supposed to go to? Where's the line for security? Because in Madrid, it's likely you'll have to go through a security line. It's fast, so you don't have to go 3 hours early like an airport. But just if you can, do some reconnaissance work the night before.
Well, I will be flying into Madrid at like 5 a.m.
Woohoo!
And so, although I won't be spending the night before, I have the whole day because I will
Excellent.
be getting there very early.
Yeah. So then you'll be in Madrid for a few hours before you get your train.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll have time to sort of explore, find myself. I'll make sure to not get a train then too close to that time. So it gives me enough time to find where I need to go.
I would allow it, I would say 4 hours for a very comfortable time window between
Okay.
your arrival. That gives your flight time to be delayed. That gives you time to get through immigration passport control. That gives you time to find the train station at the airport, get to your train station, and then probably most important, get something to eat before you get on your train or pick up something to take with you on the train.
Oh, good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was wondering, it's not necessarily a question about the Camino, but when I come back and I stay in Madrid, do you have a favorite area of Madrid?
I do. I do. So if you look on a map for Plaza de Jesus and find something in that area. So Plaza de Jesus is close to a number of things. It's close to the main museums in Madrid, the Prada, might be Prado. I have to check that. I get the purses and the museum mixed up. And then there are a couple of more, and I apologize, I don't know the names offhand, prominent museums in that area. Also, it's within 15 to 20 minutes of the Atocha train station in case you need that. It's also across a paseo, a large boulevard from El Retiro, which is the big park in the center of Madrid, and the botanical gardens. It's also walking distance to the Plaza Mayor, Plaza del Sol, Plaza Santa Ana, and markets and shopping and all of it. It's very close to all of it. It's in a neighborhood called Las Letras, which is this wonderful, just vibrant, always got a nice, comfortable, safe hum to it. And you can just walk all around the area. So close to Plaza de Jesus.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's not the only one. People who have stayed in Madrid will go, no, I love this area. No, I love this area. This area is best. It's just if you're a new person to Madrid and you want something easy, I would go there.
That's it.
It's also very close to the bus stops for the airport express bus within a 15-minute walk. And so when it's time to go to the airport, you can either get a taxi, which will cost you 30, 35 euros, or you can walk to the bus stop for the airport express bus and pay 5 euros and get a quick shot to the airport.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Love Madrid.
And then I guess my last question is just, I don't know, based on everything I sort of shared with you today, is there anything from what I've said that you feel like I should be asking, or advice, or just thoughts, or anything I should know?
The thing that comes to mind is to keep good records of your journey. Keep good records, journal, and keep track of your thoughts and what you're thinking, who you're meeting, and what has significance to you. And then capture it in photos. And then one of my favorite tricks is to choose one photo each day to share with people, not a whole collage, but one photo that captures the secret of the day.
I love that. That's what I needed to hear. I needed, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I'm excited.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's so fun to hang out with you. I can't wait for you to come back so we can do it again.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being on the podcast, Noel. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.